Hey guys, what's up? It is Preach as always. So today's video we are going to be talking about the pros and cons of switching from controller to mouse and keyboard. We're going to discuss what I have gone through in this process and whether I have found it to be a difficult transition or not. So before we jump into that, you guys know what to do. If you guys like this video, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new here, turn the bell notifications on if you want to know every time I post a new video. So let's go ahead and jump into this. And the thing that you're probably really wanting to know if you are considering making the transition is it a hard transition to make? And I'm going to answer that as best as I can from my personal experience, but I can say that it's probably going to be different for everybody. So from my point of view and my personal experience, this has not been an awful transition. It's been relatively smooth, and I'm somebody who did not come up as a PC gamer. I have been a console gamer my whole life. I have only been using mouse and keyboard here and there in a few games. The whole reason I even got a computer in the first place that was capable of gaming was because I wanted to record games on my PlayStation 4 back in 2017 to start making these YouTube videos. So for me, coming all the way from being controller only to trying to go to predominantly and primarily mouse and keyboard has been somewhat of a struggle due to just not being as familiar with it, but it has not been as hard as I thought it was going to be. And there are big advantages, I think, to both inputs, and I'm going to go over those. So let's start with the controller. The input advantage for a controller is really that you are going to have aim assist. And aim assist feels like it is stronger now than it has ever been with a controller, especially at long ranges. If you're using an automatic weapon, your aim assist picks up from all the way across the map, and that did not used to be the case, and I wish that it was still not the case. I prefer there being a little bit lower aim assist even when I'm using a controller, because then it benefits the player with more skill and better aim instead of the game just working for you. But with a controller, you do have that aim assist. It's really going to help you when it comes to tracking your targets. When somebody is running and somebody is moving, the aim assist is going to help you be able to track better and stay on top of them. Things like that are really, really handy when it comes to using a controller. The other big advantage of a controller, in my opinion, is that moving, especially if it's what you're used to, with an analog stick, running around, jumping, sliding, doing all that with your buttons and your analog stick is way more intuitive than using WASD, spacebar, shift, whatever your keybinds might be on a keyboard. It's just more intuitive to use a controller. It comes more natural. It's a little bit easier to learn and to do. But that brings me to the pros of the mouse and keyboard. So the amount of keys on the keyboard and being able to bind all of them to something different and being able to use all of your fingers to reach them allows you to be able to do more with your movement if you master it. Now, that is not something I have mastered, and it's not something that's really going to matter in multiplayer Call of Duty very much. But when it comes to like Warzone and navigating your menus quickly and things like that, if you're on mouse and keyboard, you can go through that stuff a lot quicker than you can on a controller. And if you're playing something like Fortnite, where you're building, you can, have your keybind set up to where there's a different key for every piece of building material and all of that, and it makes it a lot faster than scrolling through menus like you're forced to have to do when you are using a controller layout. And it's not to say that controller can't be successful in those areas, but it does give you a slight advantage there if you're able to adapt to mouse and keyboard. The other big advantage to a mouse, and this is probably the biggest thing that will benefit me and one of the main reasons why I'm going to be making this switch permanent, is aim. No, you don't get aim assist, but precision using a pointer, just point and shoot with your mouse, is a lot more precise than a controller. There's several things that you can do with this. For one, because of the range of motion that you do have the ability to quick flick faster. So if you ADS and somebody moves really fast or your centering isn't perfect, you can flick really fast, a lot faster than you can on a controller. The downside is that you do eventually run out of mouse pads, so you have to pick up and recenter your mouse. You can't just continually go one direction without doing that like you could with a joystick on a controller. But you do have a lot more precision even without aim assist, especially for your one-shot weapons like sniper rifles. It is infinitely better in almost every game I have attempted to play with mouse and keyboard on to use a sniper rifle with a mouse than it is to use one with a controller. And when we go back, hopefully eventually, to games where snipers do not get aim assist with controllers, then this is going to show an even wider margin between mouse sniping and controller sniping. And even as a controller sniper, I wish that sniper rifles did not have aim assist on those, because it does separate the good from the great. So it has not been too bad of a transition, and those are your pros and cons to both, in my opinion. But here is one of the biggest pros to mouse and keyboard for me, and hopefully this can help some of you as well. I have some back issues sitting in a chair hunched over to use a controller, because I always have my knees or my forearms resting on my legs, and I'm hunched over in an awkward position with my neck in an awkward position to look at the screen and to play these games as intensely as you have to play them now with skill-based matchmaking. I run into the issue of my back and neck hurting, my shoulders hurting, and there's just not a good ergonomic way for me to be comfortable using a controller while playing this game and it feel okay to my back and me not have issues. However, with a mouse and keyboard, just by nature of my arms having to be up on the desk, I sit up higher, my shoulders are up higher, my back is straighter. It has helped my posture, and I have much less back pain, much less neck pain, much less shoulder pain when I play on mouse and keyboard as compared to when I play controller. And that is the biggest reason for me why I am making this switch over. So for me, it seems like a no-brainer. Hopefully, I can continue to improve and get to a point soon where I feel just as comfortable using this as I do using a controller. I'm not there yet at this point in time, but that is the goal and that is the plan to get there. I'm not touching a controller for a while because I want to force myself to get used to the mouse and keyboard input style. So hopefully this video has helped you. Hopefully it's answered some questions for you. In my opinion, mouse and keyboard is the way to go if you're going to be on a PC, but it is all totally personal preference. So whichever input you like better, stick with that one. Don't make the switch just because somebody else is doing it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, turn those bell notifications on, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Preach out.